So I'll be going over the functionality of the polyform, going through the various settings and what all the knobs do in this video. To start, just take a listen to how it sounds with nothing going on. So you can see here the mix knob is all the way down, so obviously there's no effect coming through. Now if I turn the mix knob all the way up, you can hear. So that's the harmonizer coming through with the mix all the way up. And if I put it in the middle, you can see where the really nice qualities of this pedal start to come through. We'll start first with a look at this pitch knob, because you can see that that's pretty important. We're in the key that is called the perfect key, which means it's only perfect octaves, fourths, fifths, and a unison. And you can hear what that sounds like. I'll sweep through the pitches with the pitch knob. Let's switch to the major key. So you can see the switch here has 3 settings: left, middle, right. That's how you select which one it is. It doesn't move down or up. So we'll go to the major key, indicated by the M, and we'll do the same thing so you can hear the pitches. Pretty straightforward, and same for minor. And these are just based on triads. Now let's get into what's really interesting about this pedal is the FLUX knob. The FLUX knob is what really brings out the interesting qualities of this pedal. Let's take a look at what this sounds like when we adjust the FLUX knob to the middle and the rate knob to the middle, and we'll start not in arpeggiated mode, so we're in free flux mode. And that switch being out means arpeggiator's off. You can hear that it's fluctuating around the pitch that I set here. And if I increase the rate, it will be a little bit more obvious what's going on. Maybe increase it a bit more, maybe get an even better sense of what's happening. That has some interesting qualities. One thing that I in particular like to do is mess with these knobs in order to find ranges of sounds that I like. Now, what these knobs each do, obviously we talked about pitch. It selects your center pitch. And what that means is the flux knob is going to define how much it deviates from the center pitch. So by setting the flux knob to the middle, it does a medium amount of deviation from the center pitch. If I set the flux knob all the way up, you can hear that it fluctuates quite a bit and it goes far away from the center pitch. So if I increase the pitch a bit, you can hear that the flux is sending the harmonizing pitches quite far away from whatever pitch I'm setting. Now if I turn the flux down, let's say to a quarter way, you can see that it's only fluctuating between 2 or 3 pitches, and I can adjust this knob to choose that center pitch. Now let's switch to major scale, and I'll turn the pitch knob down a bit. It's kind of only fluctuating between 2 notes right now. And it's doing this fluctuation randomly, so it's not in a predefined pattern, and it'll be different every time that you play it. So let's say I play. Say I want a little bit more of a chord in there, a little bit more notes. I can increase the flux a bit. You can hear that it adjusts how many notes it is fluctuating between. So this is the core of the pedal here, where you set your center pitch and set your flux width, you could call it. And it is the width around that center pitch that it'll fluctuate. And you mess with the rate to get different rhythmic speeds. So let's say I want it to do a little bit slower. Or let's say I wanted to do really fast. It's interesting, right? It creates some interesting different tones depending on how you set these three knobs. These are the important knobs for your effect sound and output. The mix knob, obviously, you can adjust how much of the harmonization you want. So let's say I just want 100%. Decrease the rate back down, say here. That's 100% wet and no dry in the mix. Bring as much of that as I want in. I want it to be a little more subtle and keep it a bit more on the dry side. So that's the basics of the core of the pedal, and it's what I'm calling free flux mode, where it is not stepping through the pitches in any predefined manner, but randomly fluctuating around them. And where you set the flux knob determines how much of a fluctuation it'll do, and where you set the pitch knob determines what frequency it's fluctuating around. For the arpeggiator, what we do is we press this button in, and it goes into arpeggiated mode. And what that means is essentially, instead of it fluctuating randomly, it fluctuates in a stepwise pattern. You can adjust the rate of that fluctuation with the rate knob, the bottom pitch, the lowest pitch with the pitch knob. And it will follow whatever key is set. So if we go back to perfect, you can hear that. And if we go to minor, same thing. One thing that's interesting about the arpeggiator setting is that the rate knob has 3 different zones. We start at the bottom, we'll go back to major key. You can see that instead of it just stepping through, it has a different selection of the pitches that it goes through in a stepwise manner, but not directly sequential. There's a few different settings in the lower range here that sound like this. Now we're back to regular step, except that it's skipping certain notes and not doing all of them. I'm stepping downwards. Some kind of interesting fluctuation. And then right about here, you can see a third of the way up or so, it starts doing sequential stepping. You can increase the rate of that. About here is the maximum speed of sequential stepping. After that, we go into a different mode. So here, there's really a lot to play around with. So, again, the knobs to be playing with are your rate and your flux, and then changing your center pitch to wherever you want. This pedal, in addition to all these, has this playback mode switch here. We've been in standard mode the entire time, which means it's just playing like any old effects pedal. Let's go ahead and go to... Now, there's two other modes. On the left here, we have record mode. As you can see, there's no effect coming through, but if I play, hold this down, and let go, see I'm not playing anything. It is now looping what I recorded while holding down this foot switch. And I can just do whatever I like on top of that. Now I've overridden it with nothing. And we're back to that. So this mode of the pedal allows you to essentially record a harmonization pattern and play that back in a loop for you to play over, or to just have as a part of some kind of background, or however you would see fit to apply such a thing. The other mode is different. You can hear that it is playing like the standard mode. However, now this switch, instead of being a toggle to start recording, it's a toggle to loop whatever is currently happening. So if I play something and then I press this foot switch, you can see that while I'm holding the foot pedal down, it's looping whatever was just happening. And then as soon as I let go, it stops. The idea with this one is you can be playing and say, "Ooh, I like that. What's going on? I want to just do something over only that pattern for a moment." And then go back to playing the pedal with the harmonization matching your current notes and what you're playing live. These three modes allow you to do some really interesting stuff with this pedal, and I hope that you enjoy messing around with it like I have. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to message me on any social media platforms or whatever means are easiest for you, and I can explain things further or answer any specific questions about the pedal. Thanks.